is needed, just a statement, not the whole conversation or not the whole letter. Anything that we've always put in the minutes, we've tried to tell you to always just put a statement down. You don't need the conversation. You don't need quotation marks. So this is not an exception to that. This letter should not be in the minutes. Just an indication that she read a statement of whatever. Also, the fact that it has to be eliminated because it is basically just her opinion, however misguided that may be. It's very disparaging to the board members, very disparaging for the community voices that we have listened to today. It's very disparaging to the local media. It is her opinion, and it is not acceptable in the minutes. It has to be eliminated completely. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Keene.
Yeah, I agree with what Trustees Rosansky and Olson are saying about the letter. It doesn't belong in the minutes. It belongs at the end or something. I don't know. But including a verbatim letter from our president goes against precedent, and it's destructive behavior. If we were to include it, then I think we need to include any type of written comments given by trustees at meetings, including ones like the one I read about Joe's lawsuit, or what I'm reading right now. The change that I feel needs to be made is at the end of the minutes. I think it should better reflect what happened. So under adjournment, it should say Trustees Keene, Rosansky, and Olson walked out at X time, whatever that time is. When I rewatched the video, it was 43 minutes and 49 seconds, but I don't know what time on like the clock that is. And I think it should also say President Derblick continued the meeting until Executive Director Cindy Rademacher left at 11:40 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I will respond to your comments. Trustee Rosansky, unacceptable full statement. I just want to point out that in the past, under President Spadoni, his words were exactly printed in the minutes. His comments about public comments that were made and the individuals who made those comments were also specifically in the minutes. So this is no different than that. In Trustee Keene, it is not against precedents. It's actually following the past procedures. And then what time we walked out and she continued speaking, Trustee Rosansky, you're requesting. I just want to bring to the trustees' attention that when you walk out of a board meeting, that
You have no more quorum.
Please stop interrupting. When you walk out of a board meeting, I have been advised by the library attorney, we can continue our meeting with discussions. What cannot take place are votes.
Fine.
So that is the reason for that. And let's see, I just want to make
It
sure I
should
don't
still be
ignore
reflected in
anyone's
the minutes.
questions.
It still should be reflected in the minutes.
Let's see, may I please speak until I'm finished talking?
No, I don't know
You
why
paused.
you're,
Trustee
why are
Olson?
you even, I thought you were supposed to just talk about this.
Trustee Olson,
This,
you,
these minutes, why are you talking to us and disparaging what we have said?
well,
Why
because
don't
you're
you just
incorrect,
talk
I'm
about
trying
Because
the
it's
minutes?
okay for her to make the statement that we can't be disparaging to her, but she is the mediator, so she can be disparaging to whoever she feels like.
Excuse me, I'm correcting your errors. You are allowed to walk out of the
It's
board
not-
meeting if you prefer.
It's not your time to correct our
It's
errors.
just your time to comment on the minutes, just like the rest of us did,
Yeah,
not to rebut what our
You
comments
are
were.
not a special
Okay.
person.
Yes, I am. I'm actually the presiding officer trying to get some decorum in this board meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you
then
cannot-
Let her talk.
Then do
Let her
not-
talk so we can get the meeting going. Please.
You know, she gets to do whatever she wants.
Well, that's
Cindy,
fine.
I
Let her
just-
do it so we can get the
I
meeting
hope you heard
going.
what I said. We will move on. My request for my statement to be in the minutes is the same as what was provided for President Spadoni. So it's not only me, it's
He's
been
not
done in the
present.
past.
He's not here.
Would you please stop interrupting?
So we can get this photo for
Okay, thank you. Margaret, please take the roll.
Trustee Gribblick,
Yes.
Trustee Schultfeld,
Yes.
Trustee Makula,
Yes.
No.
Malizinski, Trustee Olson,
No,
Trustee Keane.
No.
Okay, next item on the agenda is number 6.
wait, you're supposed to say.
You're supposed to listen to what
I didn't even hear what she said.
what she said.
3 to 3 failed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, number 6, is payment of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve operating expenses of $193,432.73, payroll expenses of $247,065.97 for a total monthly expense of $440,498.70?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, we have a moving in a second. I will call trustees to speak. Trustee Makula, do you have any comments?
No comment.
Trustee Schoenfeld.
No comment.
Trustee Rosansky.
No comment.
Trustee Olson.
Not at this time.
Trustee Keane.
I think I have enough for everyone then. First, a couple questions. I'm wondering, Cindy, if you can let me know the person that was helping us with the accounting for the last 2 months, did we pay them? And where is that coming out of, and how much was it, if so?
We are not paying her. She is helping us out of the kindness of her heart.
That's wonderful.
Quote.
Thank you.
Who is it?
Unbelievable.
Her name is Anna Amon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank her for us, please.
And then my other question is if all the checks have been signed?
Yes.
Suzanne has one. Yes. Okay, yes.
Yes, all the checks have been signed?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so then my comments are starting on page 19. I'm wondering why the investment income is so low this month. I don't know if anyone can answer that question. Yeah, it's like
Joe
the,
should be able to answer
We've started to move some of the cash we had in money markets into longer-term investments slowly because we expect the interest rates to go up and the returns to go up. I think we moved $1 million from of the available of the cash, which is basically money market
so who made
funds.
that decision?
That is my decision by policy 3.21, investment. Part 14.3, delegation of authority until the board hires an investment person.
Okay,
The authority is mine.
okay. Could
Okay,
you
so
just-
this investment income did not just come down this month. It's been trending down as the investments that we had the last, basically since about March, have not been rolled over and have been cashed out. So then there's nothing invested to actually generate that money. So getting back to actually putting some of the funds to work, there's actually $915,000 that have been invested since the first one was January 28th. So, and it's working through our brokerage with Fifth Third,
Okay.
yeah, which is where it has been for many years.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Same page, miscellaneous, it's $54.95 this month. I'm wondering what that came from.
54,
The mis-
Miscellaneous.
In the
Revenue,
middle, it says
miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous?
Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look that up.
Okay. Yeah, because that's half of what we've had for the entire year. I just was wondering why that was so high.
Yes, that would be nice to know.
Payroll for supervisors is a little bit up this month. I'm wondering if that is due to the increase for the temporary maintenance that's being provided by our other supervisor?
I will check into that. Sounds reasonable.
Okay. And overall salaries are under, because we have less employees, because we're not allowed to hire more. So that's mismanagement of the board. Page 20. Materials are extremely underspent. They are at 3154, I think I had. Is that, sorry, let me catch up.
Library materials are at 54%. I did review these numbers with the supervisors at our management meeting last Thursday
Okay.
before the packet went out. So to make sure I could speak to any of these expenses, and they did not have any comments as, like they're not spending or something like that,
Okay.
Is it that one of the things, like the children's department, their biggest expenditure for the year is summer reading? Have they started spending for that yet?
Well, that would be under programming, I think, more than materials. I mean, I
Okay,
think some,
okay.
you have
Okay, just curious.
purchasing materials is somewhat cyclical in that there are certain times when books come out. Certain
Yeah.
books come out at certain times of the year, so I don't know if that's playing into it. But they did not express any concern about the particular percentage that we are at this moment. So, but if there's, like periodicals, that happens
Yeah.
pretty much once a
Yeah.
year. There's one renewal, it usually comes towards late spring. And so then
Then it'll go up.
it's just a one lump sum of periodical renewals.
Okay, so moving down then to programming, further down the page, it's still, I understand the whole concept of spending a lot of money for the summer, but we're still really low, especially in programming and support events.
So I did get some feedback last month on the adult programming. One of the things that has not resumed is our Shakespeare program, which was, each program was over $800. So that's a big chunk of money. They are not doing in-person programming yet through the Shakespeare Company. So that is something that the adults were not able to spend this year. So they are trying to program, other things to take care of that.
Okay. What about the support and events?
That's the marketing department that does that. And I believe that there was some cuts to his budget for events. So that might be why that is down.
We've only spent 5% of that for the whole year so far.
So it was, there was some money left in there for the 4th of July parade, if you remember. And then I think, I don't know, do you remember, Trustee McCullough, what else was cut out of marketing special events?
We cut the number of pages in the
Yeah, they did that drastically.
Chapter 1 or
And
whatever.
I've been hearing complaints about it.
Well, that wouldn't be under programming.
Oh, okay.
This is programming
No,
special
the-
events.
We canceled the...
Holiday open house?
We canceled back in September, the opening party for Sundays or
Oh,
something.
yes, okay.
And the 4th of July parade, we cut it back, we reduced the amount.
So
But they
what are
put
we
on
going
an
to use the
excellent
money
show
on
anyway.
instead then?
If the money is in the budget, it needs to be spent on something, right? Or are you going to keep your thumb on
Well,
that?
it's surplus at this point. We may have something that comes up we need to spend on.
It's not surplus, it's budgeted
It's
for a little bit
budgeted.
here, and we need to use it.
And if they're only at 5%, they're not using it.
So I could talk with Sasha about that and see. I just
Please
don't
do.
remember what's planned.
Please do.
Last thing for this page is the local record offsite storage is double what it was supposed to be. Are we storing extra things?
I think it was for 2 months and we didn't have a bill the previous month or something like that.
Are you still on page 20?
Yes, I am.
Local record.
The off-site storage. It's towards the bottom of the page.
Yeah, nothing has changed with that, so, I can look and see
Thank
if there
you.
were 2 invoices, as Joe said.
Okay. Let's see, page 21, legal fees. Again, $16,678 in legal fees this month. We are at 242% of our budget for legal fees. Janitorial supplies. This is like the third month in a row I've noticed weird things happening between the janitorial and COVID supply amounts. In December, janitorial was underspent. Now it's underspent. In January, I'm sorry, there was a month where it was underspent, a month where it was overspent, and now it's underspent again. And this month, the COVID supplies are overspent. So I'm very concerned that the library is not clean enough to be safe. And I would appreciate like a document that lays out for me what's cleaned when, by who, and things like that, please.
They buy that material in bulk, and things like toilet paper and paper towels are sometimes 2 or 3 months' supply, and the same with soap.
Yeah, but the numbers shouldn't be this far off, Joe.
So we can look at the inventory. That's really going to be more reflective of supplies than who's cleaning what when.
Okay.
But we do have a service occasionally that comes in and does deep cleaning of items.
That is not under janitorial supplies. That is non-contractual maintenance.
Okay. Because that's extremely important.
On page 22, the electric bill was only $2,000 instead of the budgeted $7,000.
So the columns are divided by 12. Expenses don't always fall at 1/12 of each each month's
I get
period.
that.
So it's, I don't know, I would have to see if
Is it
it's,
depending on when the bill arrives or something like that?
well, it's electric, so, it's pretty
It should be
steady bill every
standard.
month, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why the monthly budget, I mean, it's 1/12 of the actual budget, so,
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, I think it warrants a little investigation. And then I think the last thing I have was on page 23 for repairs and improvements was $9,555 this month, and I'm wondering what that was for. It's over budget by over $5,000.
It's
So
right below halfway down the page.
repairs and maintenance.
repairs and
And
improvements.
And
Improvements.
improvement.
Okay. We can go back to the sheet that lists the checks, where it has the account description.
Some of that electrical bill difference could be that Dave put in a lot of more efficient bulbs and fixtures last year.
And
He's
now we
been-
don't have those.
It's been an ongoing thing, so that
So
might...
the
Oh,
electric
I
bill
see
would
what
be
you're saying.
down, is what he's saying, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
so repairs and improvements. So the snow removal is repairs and improvement.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's $4,650.
Is that where it's supposed to go?
I can check
Or
on
wouldn't that go in contractual or non-contractual?
I will ask about that.
Yeah, that, to me, sounds like a questionable placement also.
I mean, these are problems we're having because we don't have a regular person in the business office.
Well, Lisi does this coding, and Lisi's pretty regular, and the coding also comes from the person approving the invoice, not necessarily Mr. Pritz. Let's not disparage our staff.
I was
Okay,
disparaging the
repairs
lack of staff.
On the
and
snow
I was
removal-
trying to support you again.
Repairs and improvement
Yes,
is
so
Anderson
she's
Lock,
talking about something else.
590, was a cylinder repair.
Wait till she's done.
That's on page 7. So you have just, let's see.
Mat services,
Floor Innovations, $3,235. We had the carpets cleaned.
Okay. And that's a necessity.
That's a usual expense this time of year. Especially with the salt that we had there for a while.
All right, we don't need to keep going. I think
Well, I mean,
my
we'll give you
point
as
is
much
made.
data as we can here, so you can find the answers to your questions.
Okay, Trustee Keene, is that all?
Yeah.
All right, Joe, do you have any information to share about the location or lack of information regarding the snow removal payments?
I believe we're supposed to make 4 payments on the contract. Isn't that what they were?
Well, the question is why it's not showing up.
Now, the question was what account it was charged to, and I'm going to go back and check on that.
Okay, and was there a reason why we don't have it in an account, though?
I'm not sure why, where,
Well, it is in an account. It's in the
We've-
account of repairs and improvement, and whether that is where it should be charged is the question.
we've paid them, but I don't know where.
Yeah, we
where-
paid them.
Okay, but I guess what I'm alluding to is, was it included in the initial budget?
No, because Greg forgot to put it in.
Okay, so now we're trying to find a place for
I
it.
don't think we had contracted for
We
the
didn't
snow
have a
removal by the
contract
budget.
Before Greg left.
But we
Right.
needed snow removal costs put in the budget. It's an automatic item. We have snow removal every
Really?
year.
We always did it in-house. I don't know.
Exactly.
No,
This is the first
you
year
never
we're
had a
having
service come out
Never.
to do snow removal? in
Well,
the
they
parking
did,
lot?
yes, they did do the parking
That's
lots.
the point, you're right. We didn't match or even increase that this year, so when we found a company that was better suited for our needs, we needed to figure out what to do then.
I see, okay.
So that may be why there's some confusion right now. Okay, well, thank you all. All right, Margaret, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Derbelik?
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes?
Trustee Rozansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keene?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda, trustee reports, number 7. And just a reminder, this is a time for trustees to share a program or event they attended. I would like to mention that I did watch The Roots of Black Music in America with Carlos Trapp. It was, I believe, last Saturday. He definitely did. His rendition was very interesting. I've seen this in the past, but he covered an amazing amount of music, so I really enjoyed it. That's really all I've done this month. I'm hoping to make it to the exhibit up in the Franklin Gallery. So that's all I have. Trustees, let's see. Trustee Makula, do you have anything to add?
No comment on that.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
No comment.
Yes, I have comment. I have been to the exhibit upstairs. I think it's great. I also was at the Chinese New Year Tiger Mask workshop. It was held on a very snowy night. And a lot of people called up and canceled. But we still had a large group because people just walked into this room, and the woman who was presenting was wonderful. She was very open to people coming in, to children coming in, because we had quite a few children. She had different level activities, some really relatively simple tiger masks, as well as some that were more complicated. She was wonderful, and I definitely would feel she would be an asset to have come back again for another workshop. I also attended via Zoom the Scone Zone, and it was wonderful. Wonderful seems like I'm using it a lot, but it was. I really, truly enjoyed the monk and his explanations, and he had stuff for people who were gluten-free on there, which is most of my family, and we were able to ask questions, and I'm going like this because we had to text the questions, and he answered during the Zoom meeting. But our library and librarians recorded this. And my suggestion is, please watch it. I learned a lot watching it. Please watch it. I attended Netflix like I do every month, last time by Zoom. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Olson?
Yes. Yesterday I listened online to a service or a program by the Niles Library. It was called Meditation, something meditation.
It was hard because I was signed up for it and couldn't take it.
Well, whatever. I did it yesterday in preparation for this meeting because it helps a lot. Everybody should take a class on meditation. Helps you get through difficult times, along with my monthly yoga class. Can't miss that anymore. And audiobooks are always perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Keene?
Yeah, I enjoyed the scone program too. It was really good. I'm attempting to make a cookie cutter to print out in the 3D laser machine. I really like the Love Your Librarian postcards that you guys put out for us to make comments to departments or individuals. I would encourage everyone to do that. I wanted to congratulate Donna Block on her successful program at St. John Braebuff, where she had 65 in-person attendees. But I have to say the star of this month really is the Black History Month art display upstairs. It's really stunning. There's local artists up there that I would never have seen on my own, and so I'm really grateful to have been able to do that. So thank you to all the staff who worked on putting that together, and especially the staff who put their own artwork in there. That was also really amazing. I'm really looking forward to the partnership that I read about between the Teen Underground and Maine Township's peer jury program as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is number 8, the Director's Report.
You didn't do the treasurer report or the secretary
Oh,
report.
God, sorry, guys. Okay, trustees, now Secretary's Report. Do we have a Secretary's Report? Do you have a Secretary's Report? I don't know that I've seen it.
Nope, I don't have anything for the
The
secretary.
secretary should know the answer to that, I would assume.
She said she didn't have anything. Can we please try not to be sarcastic? Next is the Treasurer's Report. Trustee McCullough, please.
Yes. January is the 7th month of our budget year. At the close of the month, we had $11,436,229 in cash and investments. We also had property tax and other receivables of $3,740,765 receivable this budget year. Revenue for the month was $59,350. Salaries for January were $250,746, and employee benefits were $52,228 for a total of $302,974. Materials purchased were $24,176 for January. Budget year to date, we have purchased $357,482 in library materials. Library operating expenses for January were $42,290. General and administrative expense was $28,906. Utility costs for January were $3,995. Building and equipment maintenance cost was $17,822. Total expenditures for January are $440,410. So far, our budget year, our expenditures are $3,408,713.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is number 8, the Director's Report. Cindy, please.
The library was recertified as an official passport acceptance facility for 2022. January and February are a very busy time of the year for this service. The Patron Service Associates 1 have completed their required recertification training for this. Takes multiple hours to be recertified. Library evening and weekend hours are well received and appreciated. You might have read in the library highlights that Maine Township and now the post office are also sending people here to get their passports because they can't handle the number of people in their facilities. And because our hours are much more conducive to families. They don't have to take the kids out of school. They can come on the weekends, come in the evening. So it is a really wonderful service we can provide for the community. The tax forms have arrived and they're set up in the Commons, you might have noticed. And it's a great location. They're easy access for the patrons. They don't have to go to the third floor to get them. And then now that the adult services staff is staffing the Commons desk, it's very easy to do the ready reference there for the patrons coming in for the tax forms. The outside meeting rooms have been suspended for the COVID surge, but we do plan to reopen those March 1st and take requests from the public again. We would ask that people attending those meetings who are not vaccinated wear masks, which is where we were last summer. If you remember, it was sort of the protocol we were under. Before the governor in August, the governor put on the mask mandate for indoors. So that's sort of, if he does remove the mask mandate at the end of the month, we'll sort of go back to our summer protocols for that. The court-ordered community service volunteers, which is mostly an adult program, will be able to resume after the maintenance supervisor is hired, who primarily oversaw the program with the adults. They do a lot of the cleaning of the shelving and things in the library. So it was a very helpful program supplementing our maintenance staff. And we are getting requests for it, but it does require supervision and assignment of tasks to additional people. So it's been suspended.
Is this something
Since
we
December.
volunteered?
This is something we normally do.
This is something we have done for years. Yeah.
I know, but,
And now we don't have the staff, is that
We
why we're
don't
not?
have
Right,
doing
the
it?
supervisor, Dave always took
Supervisor.
care of it, yeah.
okay.
You have to keep certain kinds of paperwork that go back to the
Yeah.
court and things like that.
Okay.
So it has some
You have to be a
administrative,
certain grade level in order to fill out the paperwork.
I don't know about that, but the supervisor did it, is that what you meant? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And then, Carly, you might have remember last month I mentioned that Carly was going to take over the adult volunteer program that I was responsible for, so she has more time to devote to it than I do. So she's getting it re-energized, which is really exciting for me, so I appreciate that. Staff changes. The youth services librarian and youth programmer resigned. And Patron Service Associate 2 resigned, and a Patron Services Associate 1 resigned. So that is for 37 part-time hours and 37 and a half full-time hours. Let's see. So yes, the current posting for the Supervisor of Maintenance and Security, we have gotten several applications. I do want to say that adding security to the title was my idea originally when we were going to post this job. And so I see that perhaps that wasn't the best suggestion, and that in the Serving Our Public 4.0, that blue book that you might have looked at over the weekend, they refer to it as facilities maintenance. And that's sort of the way it's referred to in the library world at the moment. So anyway, the idea was to sort of remove security, which although it is a function of that job, is not really the core function of the job. And security has always been the responsibility of the library director, with the help of the person in charge program, security monitors, maintenance assistants, and the maintenance supervisor. So anyway, it's more important that we get someone who's really good at facilities management, because it is a big facility, and we need to make sure that we have someone qualified to do that. So I think by changing the title can open it up to a wider audience, maybe who might be interested. So that is the reasoning behind that. So
is the word security in the job description at all?
we didn't really update the job description. We just changed the title. So I would have to go back and look at it. I don't think I have it with me.
Well, that'd be one of the responsibilities.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
It is.
Not a big one.
Yeah,
Big one,
it's
but it should still be mentioned. I think.
right.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's an old job description, so I don't know if it's in there.
And Cindy, can I ask something? On the website, it still says security on there as well.
Yes, it does. I'm a little behind this week, so I will. I was hoping to get it done Monday. No, I don't have that with me.
Okay, just so you're aware.
Yeah. Yeah, it is part of the job. It is just not, that's not really a core function of the job. Anniversaries, Jamie King, lead cataloger, assistant supervisor, material services, celebrated 10 years with the library this month. And Susie Wolf, digital services supervisor, was sworn in as first vice president of the executive board of the chamber. So that's pretty impressive. And so thanks Jamie and thanks Susie for their service. The COVID-19 update, again, as I mentioned, if the governor removes the indoor mask mandate, we will sort of move back to where we were last summer. We have already discontinued the hourly mask required announcements. They were reminder notices for patrons as the surge was happening. So we removed those last Sunday. But the staff still has a script and they can make announcements if needed, which, they did to supplement the hourly announcements anyway. So that can still happen. And then, starting on March 1st, we would ask non-vaccinated visitors to wear a mask over their nose and mouth. We would still require all visitors to Kids Space to wear masks because the children still cannot all be vaccinated. So we wouldn't eliminate that in the Kids Space, is the proposal. The vending machines, which are covered, so people were not encouraged to eat, would be reopened. And we, of course, would still like people's help in sanitizing their hands and in wiping down any shared equipment, which most people do when they go to use a computer. They grab a wipe and they wipe it down.
Do you have that near the vending machines also, or no? Not at this
I
time.
think there's a bucket of wipes by the vending machine, but I can check on that.
Thank you.
Yes. But the staff is still here to provide services to anybody remotely and online. And we still have our e-collection, e-books, e-audiobooks, e-magazines, streaming movies. All of that stuff is available if people are still not comfortable coming out to the library. You can use chat, email, call us. If you need to get a library card, we can make that happen, even if you can't come in person. So that is my report. I don't know, did you have any comments about the COVID protocols?
I actually had a few questions, but maybe I'll just call the trustees in order.
Okay.
Trustee McCullough, did you have any questions regarding this report?
No.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Can I make comments about, I have quite a few comments.
Sure, go
I
ahead.
just want to express, it was a wonderful display, and then health and wellness is a top priority for 2022, which we did a fantastic job. But my main concern is for page 45, on the actual report. I have a question. We accepted 157 applicants for the passports.
Yes.
So now, so I understand this completely. So each applicant for the library, we received $35.
Yes.
So the total would be $5,495 for that month then?
Oh, that might be miscellaneous then, right?
Right.
Okay.
Doesn't that,
Good catch.
it's not
The wrong
exactly that if, because we do have some expenses that come out of that for doing this too, don't we?
Well, the expenses would be in a different line item.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, so you can't say that
Revenue?
whole amount is profit with, you have to figure out what was spent in order to get whatever money we got, to know
Yeah.
the exact profit.
Yeah, I don't know. We do have a passport revenue line, so I'm not sure.
It's empty.
Yeah, so maybe we need to, maybe that was entered incorrectly. So I'll check on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sue, did you have anything else?
I just have a few more things.
Sure, go right ahead.
I would like to express for Jamie King and Susie Wolf, that was a wonderful, wonderful thing that they have been a part of our library for such a long time and contributed such wonderful ideas to our library to make it a wonderful place to be.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Rosansky?
Yes. I have some concerns that I wanted to ask you about. Aren't we down drastically our, as you call them, associate ones, or whatever you call them ones? They're technically what, a grade 4 or 5? Aren't they 5s, I think, from that department? The ones who can
Yeah,
do
I
the
don't have that
passports?
paper with me.
We're drastically down,
Yes, we
and
do
yet
have
we
some.
still did that many passports?
Yes.
Is that, were there any people turned away, or was this mainly because the people at higher levels, meaning higher job levels, stepped in to fill in the slack of the people we don't have hired at this present time?
So what they do is they have openings on the calendar for people to make appointments.
Mm-hmm.
So they have openings when they have staff available.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes, particularly maybe on a weekend, you might have to wait a week or so, or 2
Okay.
weeks to get a particular time slot because we don't have enough staff to have more openings.
Yes. And I think we were down at least 4, and we just lost another one at the level 1. And, I mean, we don't have that many at that level to begin with. What do we have? Possibly 6 or 7?
I don't have the paper with me, I'm sorry.
Okay, I know. But I'm just saying it's amazing with us being down that many staff at that level, that much was done. Thank
Yes,
you.
they're very efficient, which is what the comments you read.
Oh,
in
yes,
the
I
comments,
appreciate
yes.
very much what I read, but it's just, to me, it's amazing when we're down, and those are the people that we are down, is the ones that do the passport.
Thank you. The supervisor and the assistant supervisor are also doing passports.
Yeah, but instead of what they should be doing, but, thank you.
Okay, Trustee Olson?
Did you talk about library highlights yet, or you're not going to?
I was just asking if anybody had specific comments on
Oh, I
anything
just
about
have a few
COVID.
I do
things.
have it.
Okay, then
Anything you want to talk about is fine.
Okay, good. Page 35, under patron comments. I just want to make sure everybody notices that manning the desks is really becoming an issue, because I've gotten a few emails too about people who have waited in line at desks because there just wasn't enough staff work that is required there. So please hire to man the desk. Twice in the past month, I've needed to ask a question, haven't been able to find a librarian. They're busy shelving or they're helping other patrons, and there aren't enough librarian staff to have someone stay at the desk. So that is becoming an issue. Just wanted to point that out. Page 40. Your interesting patron interaction was very interesting. It's just a sample of how the librarians go above and beyond when any of the patrons request any help. I thought that was an amazing little insert there, so. And kudos to Kate Levinson. And then on page 46 also. Oh, this is the notary. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that too, the notary. And I just want to say that every month I am just astounded by the great work that's done by the librarians here and all the workers. And just because I don't mention them doesn't mean I don't appreciate everything that they do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diane.
Trustee Keene.
Yeah, I held my comments about the maintenance position till the end, and they just are that, I feel like I agree with the first job title that security might be important to keep in there because, we are responsible for the safety of the patrons, and staff that are here as well is just the security of the facility. So not having security personnel here puts anyone in the building at risk. I understand the person in charge program. They are not trained in security. I feel like if we're not going to have someone who's some of their job function is to do security, then we need to train the staff from an outside source, not something that we put together here to make them feel safe in their workplace and to make the patrons feel safe when they come into the library. Sue actually asked the question about the passports that I was going to ask. I did notice that outreach services continue to be down, but page 29 I found very useful because it shows that we are bouncing back somewhat from the pandemic. It has the library visitor comparison and the material loan comparisons for the last 3 years. So that's looking really good. I think we're in a good position with that. Chair yoga had 33 participants, which was the third highest attended program last month. 33 participants for yoga, chair yoga.
And going up.
Yes, that's a lot. And just
Or it's on a tier.
would like to have all of the patron comments included in the packets instead of just select ones. Thank you.
Okay, I just had a couple.
Can I comment one first? Can I just comment on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know she needed a response. Go right
And then
ahead.
can I
My
just
apologies.
ask a question after you're finished? I forgot to ask. Go on, you first.
Okay. Okay, so our staff, our security monitors are not professionally trained security people, nor was Dave. And I'm concerned that by putting it in the title, there's an expectation that you need to have specialized training, and it's not what the job has been. I don't disagree with you that it may be a good thing. It's just not where we're at the moment. And I don't know that that's one and the same person, who's got professional security training, but also has serious professional facilities.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if it really is one job.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So the comments. So I do have the comments here. So the comments. Let me see. I just go over this here. So the comments are. We had 7 comments in the comment box. There are 6 comments listed in the board packet. And there was 2 comments that were identical regarding the Roku. So we only put it down once, that they wanted the to add the Paramount to the Roku stick. There were 49 comments on passports, and we included 16 representative comments about passports. And again, they're very complimentary to the staff, and they're somewhat repetitious. So we try to do our best to collect, the ones that are unique without overloading. They come in on paper. They have to be retyped. And, we're short-staffed as well in admin, so, that we're not keeping things from you.
Could they be in a place where I could look at them before the meetings next time? Maybe that would be
Yes.
helpful instead.
Yes, absolutely. They are, and they're kept as part of local records for a period of time. So this is Margaret keeps track of these and keeps them all in a folder. So they are available to you, of course, at any time. Rich came up and gave me some information for the electric. The chillers are not operating at this time, so that takes a lot of electricity when the chillers are going for the air conditioning. So he says that's why the electricity is down. And he did verify with Athena, I guess, that the passport number, which Suzanne mentioned, is for passports, so it's improperly coded. So I will talk with Lisi about that tomorrow. So that's just an error there. But because I was like racking my brain, did a check come in that I don't remember? So anyway, thank you for pointing that out so we can correct it. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to ask one question. Didn't last year at this time we have an annual staff day?
We did.
And for this year, because of the budget, we're not having one, is that it? Or-
Yes.
That's very
It was
sad.
sort of cut out of the budget. I thought that we had cut it in half, but, so there were two issues. One is that we need permission from the board to close for the library. So if we're going to have a staff day next year, I think that we should put it in the budget when we do it, and then get permission to close the library that day to do it. I will say that it is the day when it is the easiest to train all of the staff on safety.
And that
And
is
we
much
always
needed.
did safety training on staff day. It was a big component of staff day because everyone was together and we could train everybody that was there on safety. But it was reduced in the budget significantly. I think we have about $600 left, I think, in admin professional development, if I'm remembering. I thought it
So
was.
that's what it comes out of professional development,
Yeah.
Which was cut drastically.
which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, so
I don't
anyway,
know.
hopefully next
Eliminated.
year
No
we can get
safety
it.
training.
Get
How is that
admin.
decision going down for you guys now? Good?
I'm sure it can be handled in
Too
other
late.
ways. If we need safety
It's
training
fast.
and we can't get it accomplished in 7 days, I'm pretty sure we can. She can.
7 days?
She can
What's
read-
7 days?
Well, the library's open 7 days. I'm thinking we could figure something out. I mean,
Oh,
we would not
no.
just not train our staff, would we?
Because they have nothing to do and they'll just leave the people
Yeah.
standing at the desk.
Seriously, when we're so short-staffed now, it's easier to close the library for one day, get it all done in one day.
You know what, I just want to be respectful of all of your comments and remind you, according to the statistics, our patron attendance is down 50%, and so are our borrowings. If we're receiving 50% less patrons in the library, and our staff is down, that doesn't seem to be an issue. It could almost be an even division. So we need to reevaluate this, get the documentation, and understand we're not staffed at 100%, and we are far from 100% with patrons coming to the library. So that's just a lot of information we need to start to reevaluate. But
That's your opinion,
if you
not
are
ours.
finished with comments, I'd like to make mine. Or
I'm
are
not. I
you all
actually have
finished?
another question I forgot to ask.
Go right ahead.
I just wanted to make sure the number of staff we have now is at 73? Are we at 73?
That's the recommended, that's not what we have.
Yeah, I think we are at 73.
From 102.
I'm not sure the starting point. I don't know if 102 included substitutes.
I think the number 77 or 78 is close right now.
No.
We've
No,
just
we
lost
had
people this
3.
last week, Joe.
Yeah, we had 3 more. That's definitely too high. Yeah, I think it's 73.
72?
You think it's 72? I don't know. It changes so quickly. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
I can't
Yeah,
keep
so a
up. I'm
couple-
focusing on
Yes.
keeping it running.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
that's the
that number.
problem. You're trying to do it all, and you're up there by yourself.
And not having a staff day for them to learn safety procedures is very detrimental to them, to the library, and it's very disheartening. You know, it makes them, their morale is in the tank, and you're taking this away from them is making it worse. They're not even worth one day out of the year for some development in-house. It's ridiculous and disgusting.
Talk about now following precedent. There you go.
You know, I think we need to, our patrons come first, and I think we need to accommodate them.
Then we should be hiring the staff that we have budgeted, and we haven't.
Okay, you
because
know
we
what,
won't
this discussion
open-
is over, we are not going to be yelling at one
Oh, no,
another.
it's over.
Okay, Trustee Keene, do you have any other
You need to Quit
questions?
making opinions.
Trustee Keene, do you have any other questions?
Not that I can ask right now.
Thank you so much. I just have a couple, Cindy. Regarding outside meeting rooms, which will reopen as of March 1st. So does that mean that people can call now to use the rooms on March 1st, or do they have to wait until March 1st to reserve them?
So it's online reservation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can go online and put in the application.
Okay,
Goes to Margaret,
okay.
and she,
Okay, great, because I've been getting some requests for that, so this came up at a good time. All right, thank you. And then the other thing is regarding the governor's announcement, which is supposed to take place February 28th. Are we expecting him to remove the mask mandate? And then what are we going to do?
has, yes, he said that he was going to remove the indoor mask requirement on February 28th,
Okay,
except in schools and medical facilities, I believe.
what happens to us? You mentioned that you...
But we're not included in that, so we lose our sort of legal footing for requiring masks throughout the library.
So as of March 1st, we cannot ask non-vaccinated patrons to wear masks?
We cannot ask
If-
vaccinated.
I'm sorry, we cannot ask non-vaccinated visitors to wear a mask if on February 28th, the government lifts the mandate, correct?
Well, like I said, we're going to wait and see the actual wording of what he says.
And
Oh, no, I
that's-
just
and
wanna-
that's not what she
but
stated
excuse me,
earlier.
If,
May I please speak?
Earlier.
My
You-
only...
May you listen to what she says in the first place?
Well, if you would stop interrupting, I could hear her.
Oh,
Cindy, so my question is,
if the governor says that there's no requirement to wear a mask indoors,
yes,
then
We're
I'm
indoors.
saying I would still put signs up asking unvaccinated people to wear a mask. We're not
Okay.
checking their vaccination records. It's a library. It's run on the honor system. You check a book out, you bring it back. So we are asking if you're not vaccinated to please wear a mask. We are not, we have no grounds on which to enforce that, but that
Okay.
is our request.
I just want to, I understand what you're saying. Okay, that, I was concerned, are you going to try to enforce that? I don't think you should, but I get it, to leave, to have signs, you know, requesting, that's a good idea. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. And then I just had two other things. Okay, I would like to commend Bernadetta. I see that District 219's Bridges program was here, and she is such an incredible individual when it comes to interacting with all the patrons, and it looks like they had an incredible time. And I see it was either the 3D printer or they were in the makerspace, I'm not sure, but I just want to commend her because I know she is really incredible when she works with our patrons. I've seen her over and over again. So I wanted to mention that, and I wanted to congratulate your 2 anniversaries, Jamie King for 10 years, and then Susie Wolf for being appointed as the first vice president. So that's really good news. And that's all I have.
So I think I will add a line to the statistics for staff, then I won't have to memorize the number. And then every month we'll just report how many staff we have.
That's good.
That
Thank
will be
you.
helpful.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry you had to repeat yourself 3 times on that mask mandate.
Well, it's important, and it's important to get it clear, you
Well,
know.
the thing is, we don't know anything for sure. Okay, next.
The next item on the agenda is communications. Do we have something specific for communications, Cindy? I'm not sure what that would be.
I think it was just the comments.
Okay, great, all right, thank you. So we've covered that. Next is number 10, new business. Do I have a motion to authorize the executive director to sign the engagement letter with Sickich LLP for bookkeeping and accounting services as defined in the engagement letter at a rate of $150 to $360 per hour?
So moved.
Second.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion. And it would be to add on to it. So from the beginning, it would be move to authorize the executive director to sign the engagement letter with Sickich LLP for bookkeeping and accounting services as defined in the engagement letter at a rate of $150 to $360 an hour for an initial term of 6 months, period. During that time, the amount budgeted for a business manager will remain, and a joint investigation with the board and the executive director will be made to determine whether to continue outsourcing the accounting or hire a business manager.
Okay, so Cindy, do we take a vote on the amendment first, correct?
I think we discussed it
Or Margaret, sorry.
I can email it to you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Because she said it kind of softly here.
Yeah, I didn't hear the first or the second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So who were the first and second? I heard Keen, I didn't hear anybody else.
She was the one who made the recommendation, so the second is Diane, who
Made
said
the
she
motion.
seconds it.
So, do you
Well, no, you
put
gotta
in
tell
all
them
that
that ask
information on the motion?
I'm sorry?
Or do you put in everything that you said in that motion?
So my amendment, I read my amendment, right? And I assume that means that I'm making the motion for that, and then I needed, am I right? And then I needed a second, which you did, I think.
Uh-huh.
And now we should discuss the amendment, I
Okay, wait,
think.
excuse me, do the movement and second not accept, don't they need to accept the
Not
amendment?
an amendment to
They
a
don't.
motion.
Okay, so now who are the 2 that approved the amendment?
I made the motion for an amendment.
So it's Olson? Did I see
Was
that?
the one who seconded it.
This
Okay.
is where the parliamentarian comes in.
Okay, so next is we address the amendment first, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
So I want to clarify, what is it exactly we are adding?
Yes.
As I see, I want to make sure we have it down.
So it is exactly the same as what's on here, except I added to it. Beginning with, after the per hour, it has an initial term of 6 months, period. During that time, the amount budgeted for a business manager will remain, and a joint investigation with the board and executive director will be made to determine whether to continue outsourcing the accounting or hire a business manager.
Trustee King, could you provide her with a copy of that?
I've already said that I would do that.
Okay, thank you.
Just to make sure. Thank you.
Can I comment on that? This contract,
You have to wait for
oh,
you to be
okay.
called by Carol.
All right.
So, are we now asking to discuss this matter, or do we want to vote? It's an amendment.
We discussed the amendment.
You can discuss it.
Any comments?
Yes. This contract here terminates on December 31st anyway, and we have 30 days notice, we can
That's not
cancel it?
That's not true.
The rates stay until
All
December 31st.
right, but we have 30 days to cancel at any point in time on this contract.
Yes, it can be canceled
Okay,
with 30
so-
days' notice, but she's asking that it be
Right,
a
so-
minimum of 6 months.
Right.
Well,
So
no,
we
initial
we
term.
could cancel next month if, it doesn't.
Okay, trustee Schoenfeld?
No comment.
Trustee Rozansky?
Yes, I don't feel it's unreasonable to have the whole board and the director reevaluate this up until the 6-month period and then discuss it so we can make further determination. And I don't feel that line in the budget for the CPA that on staff should be taken out during the next budget until we decide whether or not it's feasible to do that.
Thank you, trustee Olson?
So if we approve this original one, the original, I understand Becky's statement, but the original is different in that it's just a year's time or
Month to month, basically.
Month to
Month
month.
to month.
once
It's
a
open-ended.
month, But
It's
for how
open-ended.
long? I mean,
There is no end date on
There
that.
is no date, it's open-ended.
so then how do you determine that you don't want to use them anymore?
So if their services aren't what we need, right?
On 30 days' notice.
So that's what we would have to do. Okay.
So you could say for an initial term, up to 6 months, in case we don't want to go 6 months, right?
Was that what you originally said?
I said for an initial term of 6 months, not up to.
Of 6 months. Which means they would be working for us for sure for 6 months, whether we like them or not, right?
Well, no, we still have it is in the engagement letter that we have, that we can cancel at any time. We just have to give 30 days notice. But my concern is that without an end in sight, it's just going to go on and on and on, and I feel that my perspective is that I would prefer to have someone in-house. And if we don't have an end in sight, then that's not going to be reviewed.
I understand. Okay.
I
Thank
think
you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
I think it's good to lock in the line item since it will overlap the budgeting. Right? You don't want to eliminate the position and then decide you need it. That would be problematic.
Eliminate what position?
The business manager position.
I don't know.
Are you done, Diane?
Okay, can you read it one more time, the second half of it?
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
addition.
get the first, yeah, I see
Let's
it.
have Margaret read it to see if she's heard it.
Okay.
Missed a couple of
Sure.
steps, so I'm
Yeah,
going to have to do that.
Well, I
Oh,
can read
me?
it. Let me read it. Okay. Move to authorize the executive director to sign the engagement letter with Sickage LLP for bookkeeping and accounting services as defined in the engagement letter at a rate of $150 to $360 per hour for an initial term of 6 months, during which the amount for the position of business manager will remain something like that.
During that
Budgeted
time,
amount.
during that time, the amount budgeted for a business manager will remain.
During that time.
Sure. I will email it to you. It'll be much easier.
So what is it during that time?
During that time, the amount budgeted for a business manager will remain. And a joint investigation
Oh, yeah, that part.
And
with the board and executive director will be made to determine whether to continue outsourcing the accounting or hire a business manager.
So I just will point out that the services can be terminated at any time by the library with 30 days notice. But
So I want to explain why I'm just waiting my turn. I'm not sure if it's my turn yet.
Yeah, okay, I understand, I'm finished.
It's not because we're waiting for Carolyn to call us.
Yeah, well,
No, I'm waiting for everyone to finish talking, so when you're all done,
Yeah,
let me know.
I'm finished.
Okay,
now
so
it's,
as soon as Margaret can rewrite all this, and then she'll take the role, I'm sure.
no,
Becky wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain why I felt I wanted to make that amendment. I feel very confident in Sikich's ability and their reputation. I've done a little research myself. They had their list of references, and I did reach out to some of them. So I was able to get information from 2 other libraries that employ them, and they had really good things to say about them, although they use them for their audit services, not their accounting services. So there was a little bit of difference. What they did mention is they do have, let's see, to quote, they have very clear end dates for their contracts, and we don't have that in our engagement letter. So I'm just wondering how much more it will cost us to have a firm long-term than it would to have someone in-house. We can't really estimate that because we have, different rates for different people, and we don't know how many hours they're going to be here, so we don't really know kind of how much to budget for. I also want to point out that this is actually a call for your collaboration being the term here, where we can work together and, maybe see different sides of you. Thank you.
So I did talk to the Lyle Library District. They do monthly bookkeeping. And I talked to Town and Country. They do monthly bookkeeping there. And West Chicago, it was an auditing situation. And then the Phillip Park Library monthly and year-end financial and accounting services. So you can't have the same firm do audits
Right.
and that.
Yes,
But
right.
I did speak to several of these libraries that they were using their monthly bookkeeping service.
Don't we
They were
have
very
somebody different doing our auditing at
Yeah.
present? Or do we?
That contract is over. We do need to make a decision about who's going to be doing the audit this year. But
And
that
that needs to
process
be
starts in
ASAP.
May, so it would be nice to
That
know.
needs to be ASAP.
I forgot to mention that I did actually speak to Mr. Lefevre, who's from Sikich,
Mm-hmm.
and he assured me that he would communicate with all trustees as well, which was important to me.
Okay, are there any more comments? Margaret, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Dribblick?
And this is on the amendment, correct?
Is there no discussion or just?
I thought we just discussed.
Okay, I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
No.
Trustee Makula?
No.
Trustee Rosansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
yes,
Trustee Keating?
Yes.
5-3, yes.
Thank you for your collaboration.
as usual.
Yes.
So we go back to the
We're the only
original
ones that are
motion.
supposed to collaborate.
So the motion, then the original motion is to authorize the executive director to sign the engagement letter with Sikich LLP for bookkeeping and accounting services as defined in the engagement letter at a rate of $150 to $360 per hour. Margaret, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Dribblick?
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
Rosansky? Trustee Olson?
Yes,
Trustee Keating?
My vote is going to be for the staff so that they don't have to do any more work than they're already doing.
Which is why I
would-
voted yes.
I'm voting yes for this because I don't want to put any more stress on the staff that we do still have. So my vote is yes.
6-0
and we'll
passes.
take care of the problem later.
Thank you. And I think that we can work together to make sure that we're getting the services that we need from this accounting firm. And
Can I please ask, one, that it's on the agenda, and two, that you investigate? We need to have somebody to do our audit, and we need to have that information sooner than later. The latest we should probably hear about this and vote on this is probably next month.
I forgot to ask if Kleinthorpe and Jenkins reviewed the agreement letter.
yes, and there were modifications made. And I ran it through the insurance company, and they have provided certificates of insurance for liability, workman's comp, and cyber insurance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy, for taking care of all that. I know it's behind the scenes, but it's very important. And Margaret, may I ask what the vote was on the motion?
On the original motion,
Yes.
which we just finished, it is 6-0, and it passed.
Thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is 10B. Move to approve, Move to approve the Visa card usage and change authorized signatures of Diane Olson, Susan Lemke, and Timothy Spadoni. Do I have a movement and a second?
So move.
Second.
I move to amend the motion to approve a credit card from Fifth Third Bank, the library's current banking institution. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I guess we'll open it up for discussion. Trustee McCullough, do you have any comments?
I checked with Fifth Third. They're not issuing new credit cards at this time for business. They are formulating terms and conditions for a new business card, which they said they expected to have available in about a month or so. And they said the terms and conditions would be more favorable. So I assume there might be some type of cashback or rebate or something on that. I don't know. They didn't know for sure what it was.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
No comment.
Trustee Rosansky?
No comment.
Trustee Olson?
So this is only to approve Fifth Third
No.
card?
No, this is to change the current credit card, which is at Northwest Community Credit Union,
Okay.
and we need to update that account, and they won't wait a month. So it has to be updated.
So what they're suggesting is that they go to a totally different service and a totally different.
Are you
uh,
asking
company.
me?
I'm asking, I'm looking
I'll
at
answer.
the
Okay.
director.
I'm sorry?
asking
Well, it's the
the
first time
director.
hearing it, so you should ask her because it's the first time hearing it.
So you're saying that we need to go to a whole new institution when we are just told this institution that we are currently with is giving us less than a month to switch it?
Well, it's been a
Am I
while.
misunderstanding what was said?
They want the minutes of the meeting where the board is authorizing the use of the credit card. Yes, because at the moment, Diane is the only person that's still on the board that is on the credit card. Now, they would take a letter from Diane to update the credit card. So we could go that route.
Can I
But I
ask,
brought it to the board.
okay, can I ask a question? of
Oh,
you?
I was going to answer the first question you asked, but go ahead.
My question of you is, since Joe checked it out and said, we will not be able to go to this other bank for at least a month, why don't we just agree to change the names here, and then we can do it in a month, in 2 months, and then change it if you want to the other account?
There are a lot of
Otherwise, we're going to
things.
be high and dry
Well, there's a lot of things attached to that credit card.
I know.
There's a lot of work to move all of those
And
accounts
that's
over.
it.
So,
Okay, so if I can answer, the reason I requested it be a Fifth Third card as opposed to a Northwestern Community Credit Union is that the library banks at Fifth Third. And if I'm not mistaken, anyone who uses the credit card at Northwestern Community Credit Union needs to have their Social Security numbers at that credit union. And I find that's a lot of information about many employees, and I'm not familiar with that procedure. As a library with our accounts at Fifth Third, we would have to have 2 signers, and then the card would be used by the library. But
is that what they told you? Because they told us something different. They would still need the Fifth Third. They would still need the Social Security numbers.
okay, no, at
They do.
the fifth, my concern is, I believe my conversation with you was anyone who uses the card at Northwestern has to have a Social Security number with them.
Well, also at Fifth Third.
No, if you use the card, no, we need 2
Yeah.
signers at Fifth Third.
Well, who told you that?
Well, that's the information I got from
No,
Joe.
you need, I don't know if
Anyone
it's
using the
2.
card?
We need to also give their Social Security number at Fifth Third.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
For whom?
whoever's
For the
on that
signers.
card.
Okay, for 2 signers.
Whoever is on the card.
Right, well, my question is, you said that everyone who uses the card at Northwestern Credit Union, like our supervisors, need to have a Social Security number with them.
Yes, but it's the same at Fifth Third.
So
That's what
you
I'm
get a
saying.
business credit card, and there's 2 signers on it because that's what they expect. And you can't give that card to Margaret to use it?
But you're speaking about Fifth Third, which is not accurate. They have 2 signers on an account, but not on a credit card.
Is it on the credit card, Joe, that you told me?
They don't have any numbers on
I believe Fifth Third requires 2 signers on the account with 3, I think on the 3 on the credit card, but the Social Security is only used to identify the person that is being put on that card. It's not, there's no, I guess that just to check that your identity or whatever, I'm not sure what.
Okay, but am I confused? I thought at the credit union, anyone who uses the card has to have their Social Security number with the credit union, which kind of confuses me. We'll get a credit card, and it'll be in the administrative offices, and I assume the supervisors or whoever in the library will use it, but just because someone's using the card, they don't need to have a Social Security number on file.
Well, that's what Fifth Third told us. So, that's...
Fifth Third told you that anyone who uses
Yes,
the card.
that's what they said, that anyone who uses the card would need to have their Social Security. It's the same.
They said the
across
signers
board.
on the card,
The
they want
signers
to
on the
have
card
their
are
Social
people that
Security
sign the
number.
card. People
Well,
use the
signers on
card.
the card, I'm not disputing. There's 3 signers now, went from 2 to 3, okay. But our conversation was the signers on the card, and then anyone who uses the card in the library
Yeah.
also has to have their Social Security number with them.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't understand.
Well, it's the same at both institutions.
So every employee in this library that uses the credit card has to have their Social Security with the credit union?
And the bank. Either card you pick, it's the same procedure.
So we have, what, 20 Social Security numbers on our credit card?
I don't think we have 20 people that use the credit card.
It would be what, your
Well,
supervisor?
how does it work now with the Visa card? Isn't it the same? I mean, our names are on the Visa, I mean,
Yes,
I
you're...
Three
remember
names.
signing something and putting it,
Yeah.
as a signature.
Well, I'm not questioning that. There's Diane and Sue, Susan Lemke, and somebody else. But now, if somebody in the library, other than these 3 people, want to use the credit card, they have to give their Social Security number to the credit union.
Don't they already have it?
Can we vote?
I mean, I use corporate cards, and this is confusing to me. So I thought Fifth Third wasn't requiring every person who uses the card to have their
No,
Social
I
Security
understood
number.
that the signers on the card had to go to the bank and sign
Right,
and
okay.
give them their Social Security number, and they check their signature.
Okay, that was what I understood you to say. That was the reason I wanted to switch to Fifth Third, plus because all of our banking is there. But now that they're in the midst of changing their credit card, I understand that you need a decision tonight. So obviously, that's not, a good suggestion.
Can you withdraw?
So I can withdraw my amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because then this way, less stress.
But I
on
would
the
like
staff.
clarification on the Northwestern
There-
Credit Union credit card.
There is another option. We have a card at Costco, but we don't have a credit card there. And we could get a Visa card at Costco.
I don't know if that would be considered a business.
But that card
That's
could be
something that
used,
has to be investigated.
we have a business card at Costco, a membership card. And we could get possibly, I didn't check it out if they give us a business credit card, but we could get, they have a Visa card.
Why don't you
and-
check it out, and let's keep it the way it is, make the changes and the names, and then when we have all of that information, we can vote on it. But until we have all that information, it's kind of silly to vote. Am I wrong with that
Yeah,
assumption?
I see your point, yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
and if I could
I
just-
was checking out Fifth Third today, and that's as far as I
Okay.
got.
Cindy, again, if you could just let me know if I'm understanding the credit union credit card, that anyone who uses the card needs to give them their social security number, or just the signers, the 3 signers?
Yes.
Okay,
We'll
I
clarify
appreciate
that.
It's just
Thank
the
you.
3 signers that they said need to, or 2 signers.
Cindy
whatever.
will clarify it, she just said she will. Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the motion?
Should the motion be just to change to the people that you should sign it, change from the people who were on there, such as
Well, I
Our
mean,
friend
as it
Diane?
is.
So it's moved to approve the Visa card usage and change authorized signers of Diane Olson, Susan Lemke, and Timothy Spadoni. So we're taking the 3 names off.
and you should be one of the ones on it now. then,
Yes.
Right? Since you're the director.
Yeah. And then, so Diane was secretary
Yes.
when she went on the card.
And was Tim the president at that time then?
I assume so, yes.
Yeah.
So then it would be you, the secretary, and the president that should have their names on it, if that's the way.
But Tim was treasurer too, wasn't he before?
Yes.
He was the treasurer before I was treasurer.
So I don't know
So
how
that's why
long
I'm
it's been
saying
on
you
there.
have to check the date on that and see if it's the treasurer or if it's the
I
president,
think
because
it's
that
the
makes a difference here. If you're only having 3, it might be the treasurer and the secretary versus the secretary and the president. So you might want to check the
That sounds
date
right.
to see if he was president at the time or if he was treasurer at the time.
Okay, so do I have
So should we,
volunteers who's going to go on the card, or we're just going to deal with that later? We're just authorizing that it be changed?
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So it's the original motion.
Okay, read the.
So the
original
motion is correct.
What are we voting
Move to approve the Visa card usage and change authorized signers of Diane Olson, Susan Lemke, and Timothy Spadoni.
So I think we should put the name of the Northwest Community Credit Union in there, because
Sure.
That's who you're giving it to, yes.
yeah, they want to see their name in
Yes.
there, the authorization.
North-
Yes. The only thing is you have to check and see the date that Tim's name was on there to see if that meant he was treasurer at the time or if he was president at the time. So that way you know over here who gets it. If it's,
Well, I think they can decide who wants to go on it, right? I mean, I don't think the bank, they didn't
Well-
say it had to be the treasurer. or
well,
it
I'm
had to
just
be the-
saying that it was that way for a
Right.
reason.
Can I just get clarification? The Northwestern Community Credit Union, is that the correct name?
Northwest
Dern?
Community Credit.
Oh,
Union.
it's Northwest, not Northwestern.
Northwest Community Credit Union.
Okay, I'll read the motion again.
Initials.
Move to approve the Northwest Community Credit Union Visa card usage and change authorized signers of Diane Olson, Susan Lemke, and Timothy Spadoni.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Margaret, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Derbelik?
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee Rosansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keane?
Yes.
6-0 passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is 10C. Move to approve revisions to policy 3.05, lending regulations.
This wording was changed because it went to the lawyer. if
May I
I'm
have
not
a movement
I'm
and
just
a
asking,
second,
is that
please?
true?
So
May I
moved.
have a movement and a second?
So moved.
What page is it?
Second. It's
Thank
on page
you.
80.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The language has changed because it changes with the collection. This is 3.05, right, we're talking about?
I don't know because there is no number on the
Yes,
top of it.
3.05.
That was revised.
The lending regulation, yes, 82,
Page 82.
82?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the
Now,
highlighted,
this says not nails, no, yeah, I'm looking at it now. Do I have a page 82? No, I don't. I only have 80 and 81.
There is an 80.
It's in your original packet.
From my original packet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's where I'm looking because I thought this, sorry.
yeah, no, that's okay.
Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, so this usually comes to the board every year. It did not come last year. You'll see below, there's a missing 21. And last year, we added the early learning kits and the science kits
got
to
it.
the youth service collection. So that is the first material that was added last year. And then also during COVID, we started circulating the hotspots with the tablets, so, which was a response also to comments from the community that, if you don't have Wi-Fi at your house, you check out a tablet, you need to be able to connect to the internet. So we circulate the hotspot with the tablet as an option as well. And so those, the lines associated with those items were added. And then we also started circulating additional equipment out of digital services, which did not have a fine. And the supervisor requested that we add the fine to all technology equipment,
Which makes sense.
so it would be consistent, and then it would be consistent. People would get, it's an incentive to return the technology equipment. So those are the only three changes.
Okay. Thank you.
What's the star for?
Where's the star?
The star?
After yes?
Oh, there's 80.
Technology equipment, his star -1, what's all that about? There's no explanation what it is.
See at the next column, it said starred items with holds are not renewable. So it's renewable unless it has a hold.
Okay, where does it say that?
See,
It's on
restrictions,
top and it's restrictions.
1, 2, 3, column 5 says
Oh,
restrictions,
okay,
and then there's a
star,
star,
items with holds.
items with holds are not renewable.
And what's the one, number 1?
They only get one renewal.
Okay,
Otherwise, our default renewal is 4.
okay.
Exceptions then are listed below. So there are some that only have one renewal, and that's mostly the technology equipment
All right, thank you.
as
Cindy,
well.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
In terms of hotspot kits and science kits, on a monthly basis, how many do we actually give out? Do you know?
No, I'd have to research that for you. I'd have
Okay.
to look up the statistic for it.
Thank you.
Looking for that page, I've lost the page that I had in front of me.
I think we have about 10 science kits, 10 or 12 that they put together. They're very popular.
They're beautiful.
And then the tablets with hotspots was the other question?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
sure.
So are we supposed to, if we pass this, put it in our book and take out the old one?
Uh,
Or is this just a draft?
This is a draft,
Okay.
and if it's approved, then it gets finalized, and then we'll give you pages for your book.
Okay,
Thank you.
Are there any other comments?
No.
If not, Margaret, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Derblake,
Yes.
trustee Schoenfeld,
Yes.
trustee Makula,
Yes,
trustee Wazansky,
Yes,
trustee Olson,
Yes.
trustee Keane,
Yes.
6-0 passes.
Next
Thank
item on
you.
the agenda is 10D. Move to approve the revision of policy 3.10, slat wall displays, posters, and handouts. Do we have a movement and a second?
so moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, if I could just comment on this. The information in your packet from the Niles West High School, this is a fundraiser that they're doing, and they have these violins that have been painted. They're absolutely beautiful, and they want to display the violin in the library. And I just want to keep the policy current, because then it's very easy if you can just point to a policy, yes, this is permitted, and you don't have to sort of recreate the wheel every time and think about how can we fit this in. So I'm just making slight updates. The other thing we get a lot of requests for are job postings specifically. So I'd just like to address those in this policy. And we just really don't have the space to put everybody's job postings up. So we do sometimes, if it's a non-for-profit organization, we put the jobs here in this community wall over here. But I just like the board's input on your feelings about that, about posting job postings even for nonprofits or whatever, because we don't have a lot of room to post things. So
Cindy, what's considered a nonprofit, or who are the not-for-profit that have been posting?
I think one was for school bus drivers, for a senior organization or something that was non-for-profit. I mean, we do research it to make sure that they're non-for-profit.
Well, it doesn't say in here that job postings will not be posted except for not-for-profit. So I don't know how we could actually do that. Either we can
right, well, that's
post them
fine.
or we should,
Then we
either
should
do
not
or we
post them.
don't.
Yeah. Because it does, at the top, it does list, for displaying. This was really designed for paper, putting posters, putting up flyers, putting out
Sure.
flyers. And so a violin is a different kind of object. And
Oh, no, I understand it. My concern is that we say we do not post, we do not allow job postings, but yet we make an exception. I'm saying if we don't allow job postings, then we shouldn't make exceptions.
Right, that's why I'm asking to
Oh,
add it to the
okay.
policy.
Okay,
That's why I'm
thank you.
asking to add it, so
I
it's
appreciate
clear.
it, yes.
And then, so we'd add 3D objects to be like the violin
Yes, yes.
in library spaces, where before it said on library slat walls, because the violin's not going to go on the slat wall too easily. And then we do have a waiver already
Thank you.
that's lawyer approved, that we use for the exhibits and the display cases.
I was going to say, because of the liability, would we have to put them in the display case? I would assume so, wouldn't we?
No, because we're not assuming any of that responsibility. We're asking them to waive.
Because that's my biggest concern,
Yeah.
that we're not held liable for anything. And I'm sure
Right.
if you showed it to the attorney.
So you remember we had the roses there in the lobby, and we have the leaning tower now.
Yeah.
So I think we just try to hang it in a very visible place, so have eyes on it.
How
As
many?
best
I
as
mean,
we
do
can.
know
Just-
how many we're
Just
talking?
one violin, I think.
Oh, just one?
It hangs here for a month, and then they auction it off or something to raise funds
So
for their
does
music
the
department.
auction involve any money? No.
Not from us. We're
No,
just
I mean,
displaying
but
it.
no money should be involved at all.
Well, they take the violin back to the school, I believe, and have an auction to raise money for their music department.
Okay, but it's not here.
No, they're not auctioning it off here.
They're just displaying it.
Promoting the fundraising campaign. So that's what that's all about. Thank you.
So it's similar to like when we had the Leaning Tower out there.
Yeah, we still do have the Leaning Tower, but I think the rose that we had was fundraising for the scholarship program or
Scholarship
something.
program, yes.
And they took that back and auctioned them off or something.
Okay, and none of these, I know when I used to hang things from the ceiling in my classroom, the fire department didn't like that. I mean, it was like against fire code, but you've never had that situation?
Yeah, it's, you
No, they
gotta be
hang
careful how you
signs.
hang it or where you hang it, I would assume.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that,
Okay,
find
that's
the right
fine.
place. Because we have motion detectors, so you don't want to put it somewhere where it's going to set off the motion detector at
Oh,
night.
God, no.
No, that would be horrible.
Okay, if there aren't any other comments, Margaret, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Durblick,
Yes.
trustee Schoenfeld,
Yes.
trustee Makula,
Yes?
trustee Rosansky,
Yeah, okay.
trustee Olson,
Yes.
trustee Keith.
Yes.
6 to
Thank
0
you.
passes.
The next item on the agenda is 10E. Move to approve a tax abatement of $1 million for the 2021-2022 fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a movement and a second. We can now have discussion. Trustee Makula.
Yes. This abatement is possible because the library has substantial and available funds in reserve. The library has $11,436,229 in cash and investments as of January 31st, 2022. The library has property tax and other receivables of $3,740,765 due during the balance of the 21-22 budget year, which ends June 30th. The Niles Library will have available $15,176,994 in available funds through June 30th, 2022, the last day of our budget year. The Niles Library is expected to have approximately $12,600,000 in cash and investments on hand on June 30th, 2022, the final day of our 21-22 budget year. At current library spending levels and revenue receipts, we have on hand approximately 24 months of operating funds, as we'll have on June 30th. Therefore, the fund balance is excessive and it's the fiduciary responsibility of the Niles-Maine Library Board to abate this excess back to taxpayers. The Niles-Maine Library Board moves to abate $1 million in taxes back to the Niles-Maine Library taxes on the second installment of the 2021 Cook County property tax.
Okay, is that all? Thank you. Trustee Schoenfeld, do you have any comments?
No comment.
Trustee Rosansky.
My main comment is I have received many, many comments from residents saying they are totally against this. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any clarification on why they're against it?
Well, I could,
For one, the lack of staff that we have budgeted. That is a priority to the majority of our patrons. They want to have the staff that we have budgeted for hired. And that means instead of worrying about things that are not a priority, worry about the things that are and should be a priority in this library, such as lowering the hiring freeze, so we can hire these people that we have jobs budgeted for.
Okay, but this is regarding an abatement.
And I know, And I heard you.
And the
and
purpose of the abatement, or the reason for the
I
abatement,
know what the reason is. I listened to Joe.
is because we're overfunded
I
and we're
heard you.
not
Thank you.
following our, okay, so one has nothing to do with the other?
Thank you.
Do you understand? So whether,
Oh, I understand. Apparently, I don't need things explained to me 5 and 6 times like you do. Yes, I understand. I listened to Joe. I heard Joe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enough.
Trustee Olson, your turn.
Okay, on I just want to say a few things to just explain why I'm going to vote the way I vote. The extent of the impact of COVID-19 in library operations and its financial position cannot be fully determined as of now. That's just some points to consider. First of all, there's uncertainty of increasing payroll expenses. We'll find out when we talk about union negotiations. Secondly, the budget was already reduced from last year. Next, the fees for various activities will continue to grow. Consequently, costs for operating expenses increase. Next, a reduction in staff hours in all of the departments in administration and marketing and IT, maintenance, YA, outreach, adult, digital services, and more. I can't even name them all. There's been no capital projects under consideration. For example, the imminent need to replace computer hardware. Not even looking at that. Enormous attorney fees just makes me cringe. Need for more security presence in the building. We're just slacking over that. Lack of a fully functional board. This is not a fully functional board. There's 6 of us. Finally, and most importantly, there's no strategic plan. It shows no foresight. Where have we been? Where are we now? And where are we going? And we don't have any of that figured out. We need to abolish the hiring freeze and spend some of this extra money that's floating around, Joe. But since this agenda shows that we will not be addressing any of these issues, I think it's a careless thing to do an abatement at this time. Doesn't mean that it'll never come, but at this time, we have other expenses to take care of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Keene.
Yeah, I understand the need to save money at this time. COVID has been hard on everyone, and paying your taxes. I pay my taxes by myself, and it's not easy. But I feel like, unfortunately, the board has spent an exceedingly large amount of money already on a decreased budget for things that don't benefit library patrons, namely the lawyer fees, which are $96,000 plus already, and the year's not over. At the same time, things like programming and staffing are underfunded. I feel it's more beneficial for the library and the residents to not abate this year so we can try and provide what has been asked by them. I did reference 6 emails that I received, and I think all of us received today. That might not have gotten heard because Carolyn talked over me, but aside from the people that gave public comment in person today, we also received 6 emails asking us not to do this abatement because they would like us to use the money for programming and staff. I also agree with Trustees Olson and Rosansky that this isn't a decision that should be made by 6 trustees. It's a decision that should be made by 7 trustees, and 7 trustees that have a strategic plan in place, which is what I have been asking for 4 months. So as much as I would like to give some money back to the taxpayers, I think this time I'm going to have to pass.
Okay, thank you. If there aren't any other comments,
It's 8% of the money we have on hand. We have a big pile of money.
Excuse
We
me, Joe, didn't
overassessed.
you already
Excuse me.
talk?
Would you please
Didn't
stop
you already talk?
interrupting me? Thank you.
Didn't
You have no
say,
manners. Thank you.
Carolyn,
Please
people
be
needed to
quiet.
be called on by you? Did you call on him to talk? Did you
I
ask?
asked if there were any further comments, and he
Okay, fine.
started
Then
speaking.
talk, Joe.
Okay, Patty.
It's 8% of the money we have in cash and cash equivalents and investments. We'll have 92% less, 92% left. This previous boards for the last 10 years have overassessed and overcharged the taxpayers. That's why we have 24 months of operating funds on hand. That's too much. We need to give it back to the taxpayers. We shouldn't be holding this money. We will not have any, we will not run out of money from our budget for the end of this operating year. We're doing fine. We're $300,000 below budget. So we have the funds. It's the taxpayers' money. It should go back to them.
Thank you. Can we have the vote now, please?
Can I make a comment? I just want to clarify something. Yes?
Oh, by all means.
Okay. So I just need to understand the numbers that you're using, Joe.
Yes.
So if you're on page like 18, I believe, you're looking at the balance sheet. Is that where you're getting your figures?
Yes.
Okay. So the special reserve fund is earmarked and can't be spent on anything except
Right.
what it's to be spent on, right? So I
Right.
don't know that including that in the total
It shouldn't be because
is
it's
accurate.
Please stop interrupting.
So I'm concerned about that. And then I do remember Mr. Pritz previously asking or mentioning about putting in the receivables number. There is something about this property tax receivables that isn't sort of really funds that are coming in.
We will have that on hand as of after March 1st when people start paying their, in fact, some people have paid their property taxes. It's due on March 1st. So all of that money's, within 2 weeks, we're going to be getting most of that $3 million.
We never get all of it.
Excuse me.
So anyway,
Excuse me.
I'm
stating a
just,
fact. I've been on this board for over 6 years. I know the fact here.
so I just want to make sure that, that we're not overstating the amount of money that we really
No.
have to spend. I just thought.
I agree, Cindy.
I just wanted to-
I believe we have no problem giving back the $1 million.
We know that, Joe. Thank you. Kim, are we going to vote now?
I just wanted to make one comment. The last time the library passed an abatement, the reason that was given, which is the same for today, is that the abatement was possible in part due to available funding that the library has in reserve. Over the last several years, we have been able to build some reserves to ensure that the library could weather any storm. We already know, based on the audit report, that we are 24 months in overfunding for our accounts. So the money is there without affecting the money that is needed to run the library. So I'm just mirroring the statement that was made when we passed an abatement in, I believe it was May of 2020. So
Can you
that,
provide a copy of that document?
actually, you can get it out of the Niles Herald Spectator.
Can I make a statement, please?
Please do.
Don't bother.
No, I I have to just say it. Yeah, I was part of the board, and so were you.
Yes, I was.
That gave an abatement back, but I want to remind you of the climate at that time. We hadn't fired or asked certain people to leave. We didn't get rid of so many staff members. We didn't urge them to leave. We didn't cut the budget. We didn't stop giving money to different departments. We were a solvent community, a happy community. It doesn't exist now. And to take money from the poor and give to the rich or whatever,
Whatever,
it doesn't make any sense.
whatever.
I would
You
also
can't
like to
compare-
comment.
You just can't compare the two situations.
No, I do also just want to remember that, you know, keep referencing the fund balance policy. And I think, again, that's something that hasn't been reviewed. It was created in a different time. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm saying we haven't reviewed it. So I think making, you know, big decisions based on today's climate, based on fund policies that were created in the past, is just something that maybe as we go forward, we need to look at that policy as well, to make sure it
Actually-
still fits the atmosphere that we're in. and the times.
Atmosphere, I'm not sure I understand.
Well,
what
the
atmosphere.
economy and the
Oh,
times that we're in,
the
right?
economy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, actually, the statutes also, there are state laws that you cannot maintain such large overfunded balances. That's why other governmental entities have been required to bring down their cash flows. So that
I don't think
may
we've
be
been
old-
chastised for that. We've gotten letters on other items, but I don't
No,
think
no, I'm
nobody's
saying- laws,
given
come
us a
on.
letter about our fund
Well,
balances.
you don't get letters, they don't know
Oh.
what's going on until somebody reports you. But the fact of the matter is, there are laws about being overfunded as a governmental entity. So the fact that we haven't reviewed what our current bylaw indicates doesn't mean it's outdated.
Fund policy.
Right, or the fund policy, that doesn't mean it's outdated.
I'm just saying
Because-
we need to review it.
We
That's
can
all.
review it at some point, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean it needs to change. It's still important that you can't take tax dollars from the taxpayers that you don't need. Again, we're sitting on
Again,
All right, let's
easily
vote.
12 million.
Can we vote so we can get to the executive session, please?
Margaret, please call the roll.
Oh, can you say the amendment again, please? What is the amendment?
There's
I
no
mean,
amendment.
Is there a amendment?
It's the agenda
No
item.
amendment.
Agenda
Okay.
item.
It's no amendment.
Just move to,
Yeah, yeah, just take the vote.
okay.
Okay, ready? Okay. Trustee Derblick?
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes?
Trustee
No.
Rosinski, no. Trustee Olson?
No.
Trustee Keane?
No.
3-3, and it fails.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes?
Trustee Rosinski?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee Keane?
Yeah.
Do you have the
6-0
time?
passes.
Did you mark the time?